Hello everybody! Today, or right now anyway, I'm going to be playing some Dwarf Fortress Masterwork. Now, if you don't know what Dwarf Fortress is, what cave have you been hiding in? Dwarf Fortress is I guess you could say it's a roguelike in its own way, but I wouldn't really call it definitively a roguelike. What it is it's originally a text-based I guess you could say management game, kind of like SimCity, but at the same time it has other aspects of games where you grow your civilization, your colony, and you dig, and it's like a tower defense, it's like Sims, it's like a whole bunch of games all rolled into one. And what makes Dwarf Fortress so unique is that it is completely independently developed and funded by you, the viewers, you, the people that play the game. It's made by Bay 12 Games, and it is developed by, from what I understand, two people, and they're brothers, and this is what they do for a living, and it is a completely free game. They make their money off of donations that people give to the game. So if you like this game, you play it yourself, or you decide to get into it because of a Let's Play, and you really love it, go support them. Give them a couple bucks every, a month kind of thing. It's not a big commitment. I mean, give them $2 instead of giving, your grocery store $2 for a 2 liters of Pepsi or something like that. Now, with that said, Masterwork Mod changes the game drastically. Since it is a free game completely, and it's basically open source from what I understand, you can, if you know what you're doing, go in and change a whole bunch of things. Like dwarves in the original game, the original Dwarf Fortress, you can only play as the dwarfs. But in this one, you can play as kobolds, you can play as orcs. You can come in here and customize all the races, and there's a ton of customization options that just make this game amazing. You can turn brick ovens off, you can turn rune weapons off, you can turn aquifers off, which I highly recommend. If you don't know what an aquifer is, it's basically an underground lake. And Dwarf Fortress, the whole goal is to dig down and make a fortress as big and strong and powerful as you can with as many dwarves as you can. And running into aquifers can really be a buzzkill. You got this huge fortress going, you've got great grand halls, and then you run into an aquifer. And you've got to figure out a way to drain it, and then fill that space, and then dig out from there. So yeah. You can even turn diseases off. You can turn battle cries off. There's just so much going on. Now, traditionally, I play full screen. So I'm going to go windowed this time. So you're probably going to see a window in the top screen here. And the reason why I do that is because the video capture software I use has a heart attack and decides to stop and then restart when it goes into full screen mode, and it just makes it easier for me to do if it's all in one video. Now you can set your process priority, which if you don't know what that is, don't really mess with it. Now I'm using the Phoebus tile set. You can use Soviet, Taffer, Verid, ASCII, which is the original, CLA, Iron Hand, Jolly. Iron Hand is another good one. It's fairly popular. Jolly Font, Matrix, Phoebus. Phoebus is the one I like because things are generally, they're easier to see and easier to tell what things are in that tile set. You can display the tile counter. It's going to be up here. You'll see that. I set it, my graphics cap, at 60. However, the game can run up to 150 and beyond. If you've got it like a super beefy, Xeon, 12 core machine, you might get 300 frames per second. So I'm running on, 4-year-old computer, so I try and keep the limit down a little bit because I don't want to stress my machine too much there. So also you have several plugins, I guess is what you'd call them, add-ons. You've got Dwarf Therapist, you've got Sound Sense. Dwarf Therapist lets you manage your dwarves, and if you've ever played Dwarf Fortress without Dwarf Therapist, you know exactly that this can save your sanity. That's why they call it Therapist. Sound Sense adds sound to the game, music, the dwarves talk when they have a baby, or there's a party going on, or they're being invaded, anything like that. These other ones I haven't messed with because, well, I don't know what they are and I don't want to break my game. So I'm not going to mess with them right now. Now, when I hit play Dwarf Fortress, it launches it. It launches DF hack here in the corner. And we're going to put this guy up there. We're going to tab out to this. And I'm going to load up a couple of plugins that I prefer to use because they just save my sanity a little bit here. Auto labor. I believe you set it to 1. Okay, oh right, I have to load a world first. And then we're going to tab back to this guy here. We're going to launch Dwarf Therapist. It's going to yell at me because it's not connected, so that's that. Now we're going to go back over here to Dwarf Fortress itself. Where's it at? Right there. And I'm going to, first off, make this bigger so you guys can see it easier. And then I'm going to continue playing because, oh, great. It didn't do that. So we're going to create a new world. And it's going to take a couple seconds here. Now I had created a world that I liked, but for some reason I guess it didn't save it. So I'm going to have to sit through world creation. Luckily I have it fairly optimized. There's a little warning. Welcome to Dwarf Fortress. There's been some time between releases, and they do it. It takes them a couple of months sometimes or longer to release updates. Excuse me. Now, this is the advanced world generation screen. You can come in here and you can customize all this good stuff. You can take volcanoes out, you can put them in, you can make your world entirely desert, you can make your world 120 degrees, you can turn it into, Vulcan, you can turn it into the moon, you can basically create your world in any which way, shape, or form that you want. Now I'm going to come down here, keep my embark points at 10,000. Population cap, that's fine. All this stuff, it works, and it generates me a decent world. No. F6 to save, even though I didn't do anything. Now what this is doing is this is creating a whole new world from scratch, ground zero, like creating the earth, the heavens and the earth, and then letting the world evolve on its own. Now if it doesn't meet the criteria in that custom set, it rejects the world. So got your graphic representation here, and I can zoom out a bit more, and it shows the world in its entirety. So this is the entire world that's being generated. You can see it's forming lakes and minerals here. Now, when we go into this, our fortress is going to take up one little square. And you'll see here in a couple minutes that within those individual grid squares, there's a, I believe, 10 by 10 or 15 by 15 grid square in of itself, and you select that. You can make your embarking zone bigger or smaller. You can, you could like, these are blessed lands, these are cursed lands, these are mountains, this is river, forest, plains. There's, let's see, zoom out here. Come on, zoom out, there we go. Let's see, we don't appear to, oh, this is desert down here, so there's no water, no trees, no nothing. You've got polar ice cap zones up here. You've got basically what would be corruption down here. It's evil stuff. That's where like all the denizens and the dwellers of hell, and you got dwarves or goblins and ogres and vampires and all sorts of evil, nasty creatures down there that will make your life just a pain in the rear. So with that said, we generated our world. It went to year 100. We have 17,000 historical figures. 6,700 of them are dead. Now, what that's telling us, and that's one of the beautiful things about Dwarf Fortress, is it simulates this world down to each person. So it had 17,000 individual people walking around in the cities. So like this here would be a city. So within that city, they had it simulated every person walking around, going about their little lives for 100 years in this world. And 6,700 people are dead, 17,000 were living, so we have 11,000 historical figures left in this game. And you had 86,000 events. Now that's things like Dwarf, Smithlif went to fight historical evil badass ogre Rothlox, and Rothlox bashed his head in. That's a historical event. So there's all sorts of crazy things like that going on, and we can go in and view them. We can later on Now, what's it? We can go in and explore the world as an individual person, or dwarf, ogre, whatever. I've never done that, but I've heard it's tremendous amounts of fun. And what the game is doing now is it's saving that world. It's creating the world file so that we can go in and make our fortress. Now, with that said, I still can't do that because I don't have a fortress loaded. So this takes a couple of seconds here. Oh, I locked it up. I hope it didn't lock up for hardcore. Nope, there we go. Still going. There we go. Now I hit continue playing. Oh, I have to play. That's right. Okay, so the two regions that I created. This is the one I just created on screen for you guys. This is the one I created off screen. We're going to check this one out since we created it together. Now, like I said, Dwarf Fortress, that's the one we'll be playing. Adventurer, that's the one where you go in and you're an individual person. And Legends, I believe this is what tells you all the historical events that happened in the world. And we'll just do that if it respawns here. Takes a couple seconds because there's so much going on. And we can always back out if it's the wrong decision. So let's see here. I'm going to pull up my wiki for Dwarf Fortress on my other screen here. So while that loads, there we go. So this tells you everything that happened in the game. So I can come in here and say historical figures, right? And wham, there's all your historical figures in this game that have happened. Now what's going on here is it's telling you, let's see here. Now I apologize, the game is, the highlights aren't exactly easy to see. The unselected zones are these kind of grayish, and then the selected option is this bright white. Now as you can see over here, D28. That's the year in which he died. So I can hit enter to select, and it tells you about this person's life. Zom Wraithplay was a goblin. He was one of the first of his kind. He settled in the Planarhate. In year 1, in year 2, he began wandering the wilds. In year 7, he settled in Unholy Hated. In year 8, he began wandering in the wilds again. So apparently he didn't like the places he's been living at. And then he got 6 kills down here. 4 frost giants in Unholy Hated. 2 giant blight bats in Unholy Hated. Let's see. In early winter, the bodies of Zom and others were hung from an oak on cotton fiber ropes in the winter spring terrors in Unholy Land. So basically, yeah, it says right here he died in 28, and he was struck down by a frost giant in Unholy Hated. And he was a farm worker. What an eventful life this guy led. But he was a goblin, so we don't care. Let's zoom back in here so we can, easier for you guys to see. Now, with that said, we can also come down here, you know, Age of Myths, Golden Age. We can look at all the artifacts in the world, and these are things that the dwarves or goblins or orcs have created, and it gives you a description. Some are more detailed than others. Let's see if we can find one that's really, really detailed. So this one, Twinkle Hugs, Nothing Weeps in the Beginning, was a legendary platinum-bound book. I believe that means that it no longer exists. The written portion consisted of a whole 12 pages essay entitled Twinkle Hugs, Nothing Weeps in the Beginning, authored by this person. It concerns the fortress Twinkle Hugs. The writing is excessively ornate. So all the artifacts in this game are, their whole goal is to immerse you in this game. It's designed to immerse you in Dwarf Fortress and make it so that it's just much more entertaining for you. It gets you invested. You know, you play this fortress for, you know, 15, 20, 30 hours, and then your characters die because, let's say you have an ogre raid and they come in and they smash your walls down and they break your bridge down and they cross your moat and they get inside your fortress and they kill everybody. So, and you feel sad about that. You feel upset. You feel angry, and you want to get back at them so you can reclaim that old fortress and create a better, stronger defense in that same area. Now, with that said, before we pick an embark zone, I'm going to come back out here and I'm going to put in a command, and I'm going to put us 14. So what that does is, traditionally in Dwarf Fortress you only start with 7 dwarves, but I want to start with 14. It makes it a lot easier. So specifically what I am looking for, I'm going to zoom out here a little bit, so forgive it if it gets hard to see. I'm looking for a volcano that has a river next to it with trees, and we got something right here, except that's mountains and we got trees. So let's make this bigger. There we go. I like that zone right there. Now the way you resize and you move in your little map zone, I'm over here by the way, is right here, UMKH, move local area. So I'm hitting U to go up, M to go down, K and H go left and right, and then Shift UMKH. So Shift U makes it taller, M makes it shorter, and so forth and so on. Then you've got notes. You can you can add notes to a zone and so forth and so on. So the game is very deep. It's very involved. Let's escape that. There we go. Let's go back here. We want to be in a 5x5. Now, the thing to remember about this game is that your embark zone, each one of those squares is, I'm not quite sure exactly how wide it is, but it's a lot. You could very easily make a fortress in a 1x1 plot. And I'm not even sure if you can do that. No, the smallest you can do is a 2x2. But even within that, I could go right there, and that would still be enough to have a fairly sizable fortress. So if you don't have a super, a computer with lots of RAM or lots of, a good CPU and a good graphics card, you really don't want to push it that big. With that said, we might get lag with this later on. So now this screen here, this is your world map. This is your zoomed in region map. So like this square here is representing, an area just zoomed in a bit bigger. And then this right here is the local zone of where that X specifically is. So I'm on this map here. I was about to point with my finger. So this map here is the one you focus on while you're actually trying to find a spot. So as you can see it moving, this cursor over here moves, and all this goodness here changes. So that one in the very top left is representing everything that is on that little yellow X plot in the middle map. And then as you can see, if you watch the right one, as I move up, 1, 2, so every square is several actual mid-zone squares. And you can hold Shift to jump 10 squares and move around that way. So yeah, and then let's see, we can go to this here, and in that top left you see all those, the walls and the big square. That's where there's a city. So there's a civilization living there. They have a fortress. They're well defended. So it wouldn't be a good idea to try and settle on one of those. And I don't even think you can settle on. Yeah, I don't even think I could settle right here. I could settle here, but I couldn't settle there. Now, with that said, over here, you look over here, and this tells you the civilization that is. So it's Icenana. I believe that's the city name. And then it tells you the stream that's going through, tells you the temperature, the type of zone it is, how many trees there are, other kind of vegetation, and how wild the zone is. So if I come down here, I have no trees, no vegetation, it's a mountain, and I'm in Untamed Wilds. If I come to this desert, it's just regular wilderness, warm, no trees, no vegetation. And if I come here, it's a savanna, it's warm, sparse trees, and moderate vegetation and wilderness. And then if I'm all the way down here in the purple, tundra, freezing, no trees, scarce vegetation, and the surroundings are terrifying. So haunted. So each one of the surroundings has a specific set of creatures that it's going to be giving you. So with all that said, let's actually try and find us a zone. So what I'm looking for is a volcano with trees, preferably, mountains as well, and a river all within, say, 3 to 4 squares of one another. And that can be rather difficult to find at times. Now this here is a volcano, but it's a dead volcano. There's no lava on the surface. So we are looking. Looky. We looked at that one. Now volcanoes are kind of hard to get into your world. You can try a whole bunch of settings and never come up with a good volcano setting. I think I've gotten lucky and found a somewhat of a sweet spot where I can get a fair amount of volcanoes. Like this spot here, I like that one for the moment. Let's see, this one is, that one's too far away. We've got all these here. There's a city on that one. That one's rock. That one's by a desert. No, thank you. By a desert. What was this one? No. No. And then you can even have them, I've seen it where, oh, that one's not too bad. I've seen it where literally there's a little single square and it's a volcano, like this guy here. I've seen it to where there's a volcano right in the very center. Yeah. You want to try avoiding settling on a island like that, because your trade caravans are not going to be able to get through to you very effectively. So I think this one here is probably going to be our best bet. So let's move this back into position, make it bigger, go there, and there we go. Let's actually move it up, and we'll put it right there. Yeah. Now that we have our zone selected, we look at where we're at. We're in mountains. It's temperate, so it's not too hot, not too cold. There's no trees. However, there are trees right here. So if I move this over and down, heavily forested. So there are trees. They're just not enough. And in fact, I think I'm going to go right there. We've got thick vegetation. That means we're going to have lots of bushes and shrubs and stuff like that. Wilderness is generally going to be more tame animals like I don't know, eagles and bears and stuff like that. Things that are hostile, but they're not as hostile as if they were in a haunted or terrifying zone. And our volcano is the Oily Rage. And our brook, our little river flowing through here, is called Whining Cuddled. Very interesting names. Now, we can change our view modes. So I hit tab here, and it's showing my neighbors. There's dwarves nearby, which I'm guessing it's these guys right here, and frost giants, which I'm guessing are these guys. My civilization, and I can actually pick. Oh, dang it. I hit the wrong key. If I press plus and minus, I can select the civilization that I want to belong to. Now that's going to affect your starting items and your starting things that you can purchase. And as you can see, as I cycle through them over here on the world map, it changes to show where that civilization is based. So I think I'm going to go with the Scared Nightmares because they're actually close to me. So I might get a bit better support in the long run. Our next view is the elevation map. Now this only affects your mini map over here. So what this is doing is this is telling me how high in the world the stuff is. So where we're settling is actually right about sea level, might actually be below, but the stuff up here to the southeast of us is actually getting pretty high. So if you're wanting like some super high mountains, you can go find that. And then the next view tells us where our cliffs are, and it tells you the amount of slope that it is going. So 0 is flat, 1 is just kind of, walking up your front yard from the street if your house is a little elevated. Low cliffs, medium cliffs, high cliffs, very high cliffs, and extreme cliffs. So as you can see here, up in this corner, if we settled like right here, say here, all of this would be an extreme cliff, just straight up. We wouldn't be able to get up at all. And that's what this view is showing you, is how hard or easy is it going to be for your dwarves to get up and down? And it does take time because the game, being 2D, it is still three-dimensional. And then we're back to this. So let's come here. Yeah, we'll go right there. And then we hit E to embark. Gives you a little warning. This is your last chance. It's also telling me I have a very large area and I could get lag. Now, with that said, I have many different templates. Now, in the standard Dwarf Fortress, there's little to no templates. The reason why we have all of these templates is because we're playing Masterwork, and you've got your Orc and Kobold. So we're going to click Prepare for the Journey carefully, and here we go. So now I have my 14 dwarves. Shazam! Now they each have 10 points that they can invest into skills, and we also have items over here. We'll get to that later. Before we move forward, we're going to name our fortress. So we hit Shift F, and we click Random Name. Scour Sand, Stake Taint, Temple Told, Listen Smith. So that's not bad. Now these are all randomly generated based on the words that are in here in the Dwarven tongue that they have developed for this game. So I'm just going to hit these until I see something that I like. Back. Princeville. Very ambitious. And then it's also telling you the Dwarven tongue up here. So you got Dwarven and Common, or whatever language your stuff is in. Ragswallow, Obey Tempt, Terrible, Raunches, no. Tarnished Stick, I like that. Nice and distinguished. Alright, and now we're going to change our group name. And the group is what we are actually called. Whereas the last one was what our physical structure is going to be called. This is what our people's group is going to be called. Relics of Molds, Embraced Mechanisms, Virginal Ore, okay, Ace Ores, Mechanism of Trashing, Fortification of Dells, the House of Dividing, Princely, Furry, Rumored, Flaming Clocks. I like that. We'll go with Flaming Clocks. Alright, so on to the building of our people. Now, before I go on, I'm going to give my people nicknames. How do I... Oh, there we go. Customize, nickname. I'm going to make my first 3 miners. Oops. That's because I like to get stuff dug out really quickly to begin with. Alright, and then we're going to have 2 farmers. And this just helps me keep track of them in Dwarf Therapist. I could do this in Dwarf Therapist, but this way I can go down the list one at a time and just get my people customized a bit easier. We're going to make this guy a mason. I can make this guy a mason as well. And we're going to make this guy... So we got miners, farmers, masons. I can make this guy a carpenter. Make this guy a carpenter as well. The reason for carpenters is because I need to chop wood. And then we're going to make this guy our leader. Lurder. No, not lurder. There we go. Leader. This guy is going to be army. Oops. And this guy is going to be army. Alright, and then we got 2 more guys. I'm trying to think. If you're ever lost as to what you need, they're all over here. All the way down to here, roughly. These last ones, however, are military. Most of these you're not going to use until, like, you're civilization is a year or two old or something to that effect. Let's see here. I will make this guy crafter. He will be making my stone goods and such. And this guy, let's see, what do I want to make him? Let's see. You know what? We're going to make him a hauler for now because I'm not sure what I want to make him. So you come over here with right and left keys, or you can do it with your number pad 8, 2, 4, 6, and then you add skills with plus and you take them away with minus. Now at this stage you can only give someone 5 skills maximum. Now the way you do that is with plus and minus, like I said. Now this isn't the amount of skills you have, this is how many you have to spend. 1 level makes me novice, and this tells you how many levels he has into it. So right now he has 1 and he's not a minor. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that tells me I have 5 levels into it. Now this tells me how many points it's going to be to move him up to the next skill level. So I got 83.55. 9 more points should take me down to 25 or 26, and there we go. It took us down to 83.26 points. So that's how you can tell. Now these guys here, we're just going to leave them as is. We got a farmer, and farming is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're also going to make these guys, let's see, make this guy an herbalist and a cook. Make this guy a brewer, give him 3 levels, and a butcher. Those will come into play later. Masons. We want to give these guys masonry. And then I'm going to make this guy, actually no, I want the second guy to be the engraver. Make you an architect. Make you, what else? Let's see, a mechanic. What else can I make you? Engineer, there we go. This guy, however, is going to be okay, this guy's the architect. So let's make this guy engraving as well. Stone crafter. And we'll leave him at that. So we got our 2 masons, our carpenters. We want them both to have lumberjacking because that is very important. This guy will give him carpentry all the way. This guy will give him, make him an architect as well, why not? And we will make him a wood crafter and a tool maker, mechanic, and miller presser, why not? Hauler, this guy really doesn't need anything. However, I will give him herbalist. Did I give my farmers herbalism? Yes, I gave them both herbalisms. Let's take one away and make him an herbalist as well. What herbalism does is that lets them go gather plants, really. So this guy, I'm going to make him multi-purpose on that side, and we will give him stone crafting as well. There we go. Crafter, he is going to be all of this crafting stuff. So let's give him 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, 2 there, and 2 there. Now, army guys, let's see, we want them to be, we'll pick mace men. Now this is important because it can be a pain to set up your military, so you want to make sure that you have at least one person that can protect you guys from, like, say, an angry badger or something like that. Give him armor. Let's give him striker, dodger, athlete. That should make him get tired less. And let's see, shield user, might as well. Give this guy the same stuff. Athlete, there we go. Now last guy, but definitely not least, is our leader. This guy is very important. He's the guy that controls everybody at the beginning. Oh, I forgot a miner up here. Whoa, I bet you guys were all yelling at me. You forgot a miner! You forgot somebody! There we go. Back to this guy. So this guy, what I like to do with him is I'll make him my trader to begin with. Record keeper, organizer, conversationalist. This guy really, he's no specific job until the trade caravans come through. And that's his really most important duty in life for the first couple years. Now you can reclassify these guys later on by assigning them to other jobs. So let's see, public speaker, student pacifier, concentration, observer. I'll give him observation. Those should make him better at the trade table. Now we go over to items, and this is where it gets really crazy. So we are going to, how do we add new item? Now you've got your left menu here, goes down the list of all the things you can get, from meat to miscellaneous. Put right, you come over here, and then from there you can tell it what to get. Now if there's something on this list here such as meat, okay, it's not going to show up in this list. So if you're looking for something specifically here, it's going to be out here. Plain and simple. That's all there is to it. So with that said, we want digging implements, and we want bismuth, bronze, battlepix. We want 3 of them. Come up here. Now I'm adding and subtracting with the plus and minus. Here I'm adding with the enter button. So if you want to get rid of something completely, just hit minus. Do that. We don't need the crutches. Well, we'll keep 1. We don't need that. Keep 2 buckets. Quivers. Go back to that later. Plump helmets, cavefish. Oh, wrong button. Okay, I like to take all the seeds and do this myself manually because it can, for me, it's a bit confusing to try and find everything, and I might not want them all. Now, like I was saying earlier, depending on where you embark from, which civilization you belong to, is going to greatly change what you have access to on this screen. Like plump helmet spawn here. Plump helmets are very, very important in this game. So if you embark somewhere that doesn't have them, you might have a bit harder time. Shadow leaf, wow, lots and lots of plants. And then get rid of all the meat. There we go, get rid of the plump helmet spawns. There we go. All right. So, there are a couple things that are incredibly important in this game. Booze is the primary. If your dwarves don't have booze, they're not happy. I mean, everybody needs a bit of booze from time to time, right? But these guys, they need it every day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And they can get cranky and decide not to do their work, or decide to throw a tantrum, or decide to just plain go crazy. So, alright, with that said, we are going to go new item. We want seeds. First off, I'm going to go for trees. So we want shadow leaf, maka, fungi wood, spore tree, tree acorns. Let's give us, say, 75. Oop, there we go. New. Next, we want seeds. Plump helmet spawns. I generally do about 100 of these because we can tell them not to use our plump helmet spawns, which is what we generally do. Okay, then seeds. I can never remember what I can plant underground. So let me pull up something real quick here, and I will look. So it's looking like I want dimple cups. Ah, there we go, dimple cups. Take about 50 of these. Now, just like your skills, everything you add in this view subtracts from your embarkment points. So I try to just get the basics out of the way and then go from there. Seeds, then we want cave wheat. And then I usually try to have 4 types of plants. So hide root, fish berries, sweet pods, that'll work. And I gotta remember, dwarves like to be underground, so they can actually get rather cranky if you make them outside. Make them do stuff outside. So, plants, let's take plump helmets. We're going to take about 100 plump helmets as well. And if I do things properly right away, that'll actually give us 200 plump helmets seeds. So, weapons. Okay, we made our guys mace users, if I remember right. So, let's do that. 3 of those. And this is where it starts to get expensive. Wood, I don't want that just yet. I want bodywear. There we go. Bismuth bronze. Let's give them male shirts. 3 of those. Headwear. Bismuth bronze helmets. 3 of those. Now, when you do this, you have to remember that your handwear and footwear, you need 2 of each. Because, well, you've got 2 hands, they've got 2 hands. So we need 6 of those. And we need 6 footwear, bronze boots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. So that right there is a pretty hefty chunk of your embarkment points. Alright, next we want to give them some shields. Let's give them just the... Oh, what the heck, we'll splurge. We want to be well defended. Alright, so now we can start looking at the other stuff. So, let's see. Digging implements, drinks. We got 150 drink. That should last us quite a while. Meat, we want meat. So let's put about 100 meat. Meat. And plants, we will take strawberries. Take about 50 strawberries. And the reason why you want to take various types of meat food if you can is because you can make meals, and meals will satisfy your people more, and you get more out of your food. So it might take 1 piece of meat and 1 piece of bloated tubers to make a meal, but that might make 3 or 4 actual meals. Or that might keep the dwarf full for longer. So that is why you want to do that. So, and let's take fish. Yeah, we'll take cavefish. Alright, let's get 50 of those. Alright, next we want, okay, let's grab some wood, because it's always nice to just have some wood laying around to build things with. Say 30. And then, okay, what next? Stone. Let's see. Let's grab, where's it at? I am looking for marble. Okay, because, there we go, marble. Marble is a flux stone, which you need to make steel, so I'm going to grab some of that. I don't think I'll be making steel anytime soon, but it's still nice to have. Peat, fire clay, glass, sand, metal bars, cheese. There we go. Cheese is also used in the making of meals. So grab 50 of those. That is going to keep us going for quite a long time. Oh, did I get my guys? Yes, I did not get my guys' leggings. Gauntlet shoe. Nope, I did not. So let's get us some leggings. Leg wear. There we go. It's a bit out of order, but it will work. Okay. We got 2 buckets. We want to get some barrels. What they're going to use to put the wine and stuff in as they make it. We can make those on the fly, but it's just nice to have them to start with. Let's see, bags, backpacks, quivers, ropes. We want some rope. There we go. Now that we got all that done, we can go over here to our animals. This is also going to help keep you alive. We are looking for, let's see, can I search? I cannot. Okay, so I am looking for badger dog, badger cub, no. What is it I'm looking for? I'll know it when I see it. Mastiffs, there we go. Mastiffs are just good animals to have around in general. So I want the females and the males. So let's get 5 males and 10 females. And this will become very apparent later on in the game. Let's see here. Can I get booze belly goats? There we go. 2 of those, 4 of those. And then I can get a tusk ox, and I cannot get another one. So let's pull back one of them, and let's get a bull. There we go. So we have a mating pair of tusk oxes. And then let's just put the rest into, let's say, we can do that. You know what? No. We'll do that. And we're ready to embark, which we will do on the next episode, folks. This has been 45 minutes long. I'm not going to make you sit through any more of this. Next episode, we will... Actually, you know what? No. We're just going to embark right now. Get to that screen, and then I'll end this video, and we'll move on to the next one. Alright, we've arrived after a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wildness beyond. Your horse trek has finally ended. Your party of 14 is to make an outpost for the glory of all under Urithdesuth. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labor comes sustenance. Whether by bolt, plow, or hook, provide for your dwarves. You are expected a supply caravan just before winter entombs you. But it is spring now, enough time to delve secure lodgings. Ere the lion men, ooh, sounds dangerous, get hungry. A new chapter of dwarven history begins here in this place. Thilson Nob Gost, tarnish stick, strike the earth. And there we go. I will leave you with that, folks. See you next time. Don't forget to smash that like button. Leave a comment. Let me know what you want me to do with this place, with this beautiful embarkment of land that we've got. There we go. We've got our lava right there. Wonderful. We've got a little bit of water here. If we zoom out, we can see our river. Beautiful, beautiful spot to start with. And it goes from there. So as you can see, we've got quite a lot to explore and quite a lot to dig into. So yes, don't forget to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, share the video with friends, favorite it, do whatever you can. I'll talk to you later, guys. Peace out.